This board has some twist in it, so I'm going to plane that out. Damn. Splinter. I now have wood inside of me. We have become one. Just gonna flip it over, see if I made any progress. So it's bowed and, wow, it's extremely bowed. Well, we're gonna plane out that bow. You know, when I do this glue up, I can probably just push this down and set it and forget it. But I'm still going to plane out some of that bow.
Now that all the boards are planed flat, I need to joint the edges, so I'm looking for a way to arrange them so I have to do as little hand jointing as possible. Once I finish jointing, I'm going to take these over to my clamps and join them together. I'll be alternating the wood grain to account for wood movement and then using glue to join these boards into one big panel. I wipe off any excess wood glue with some of the planed shavings. And then I'm using some scrap 2x4s and clamping them down to the boards that I'm joining because they started to bow under the pressure of the clamps. Now that the top of the cabinet is finished, I'll be making the sides. First up, I'm cutting my 1/2-inch plywood to width using my circular saw and a scrap piece of plywood as a guide. You may not have noticed, but my circular saw kind of caught underneath my straight edge guide, so I need to bring in the total width about 1/8 of an inch, and I'm going to use my hand plane to joint the side of the plywood to get it there. I'm measuring out the total length of the sideboards, and then I'll be using the legs as a straight edge to make my line. I'm going to carry that line over to my compound sliding miter saw and make the cut. I'll be attaching the sideboard to the legs using pocket hole joinery. I'm making a pocket hole 2 inches from each end and then every 6 to 8 inches thereafter. For the legs, I'm going to do something a little bit out of the ordinary and taper them. This is something that I've never done before, but it's only woodworking. It's not rocket science, so I can figure that out. I'm measuring in about 4 inches and 1/4 inch from the outside edge, and then I'm drawing a line, and whatever that angle is, I'm going to cut by hand using a handsaw. Now I'm going to carry my marks all the way around in pencil, and then using my marking knife, I'm going to sort of indent the wood so that my saw blade has a place to rest. And this will help you make a straight cut to start. And then it's kind of up to you to continue that straight cut throughout the rest of the piece. Now that the first piece is cut, I can use that as a guide. So I'm just going to trace the outside of that tapered edge and carry it over onto my second leg. On the first leg, I had a little bit of trouble getting the saw started. So I'm chiseling out a little channel based off of my knife mark, and that'll give me a little bit more width to get the saw blade in there. As you can see on this leg, I had a little bit of trouble getting the saw through the piece of material evenly. So I'm going to carry that mark over from the other leg and then chisel off any excess material that I missed. I'll sand all these down to get them nice and smooth later. I thought it would be fun to cut in a little channel in the back of the legs to slide a 5mm piece of glue on as my backboard. Normally I'd screw this in or something with hardware, but I'm trying to be a little bit more thoughtful in my design while at the same time getting better with joinery and building in general. So I thought this would be a cool touch. I'm chiseling out the excess material that the table saw didn't get. I measured out 1/4 of an inch from the end of the legs, and I'll be attaching the sideboard using pocket screws. Using a right angle clamp generally seems to help in most cases. But not in this case. I'm using each leg to carry the line down the end of each board. This is where I will attach the sideboard to the leg. Now, it's important to be mindful of where the taper is. We want to make sure the outside of the sideboards do not have a taper. The tapers go on the inside.
Next time on DIY Daddy. Sorry.
My first Morrison tenon joint.
Oh, it looks so...
And I prepare to install the drawers.